What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to Real Reds Talk, an authentic football fan channel made in Manchester. Happy Friday, everyone. I hope you're all feeling fabulous and wonderful and ready for the bank holiday weekend. Let us know what you'll be doing and where you'll be watching the game. If you'll be at the stadium, if you're just watching at home, if you're going to miss it because you're at a wedding or whatever it is, let us know in the comments. Today, as you've probably already seen from the graphic, we're going to do a Sancho breakdown from the situation when it first initially sparked to where we are now, because there's quite a bit of context in between. So we're going to go through a bit of a chronological timeline with you, discuss everything that's happened and how it's led to this point, and kind of trade opinions on that. We're going to discuss Kadioglu. He's just got a here we go to Brighton, who of course was a Man United target. Should we have gone in for him, or have we made the right decision not buying someone like that? And we're going to discuss how closer than ever, the smell of Uruguayan air. Ugarte almost on a plane, just downloaded his ticket, inching closer, edging forward, so close you can literally smell it. That's what we're going to talk about Ugarte towards the end. No, in all seriousness, if something gets announced, obviously we will we'll cover it. So let's just see what happens in the next hour or so. How are we doing, Sam? Friday, yeah.
Yeah, got a bit of good news, which I should have told you before we went live, but yeah, I'll tell you after the thing. So yeah, it's been all right. It's gonna be a nice bank holiday weekend of me cleaning the house. Fun times.
Yeah.
Fun times.
Yeah. Do you know what? With cleaning, I used to fucking hate doing it. I'd be right lazy twat with it. But now I just use it to distract myself. I don't know why. It's like aesthetic cleaning pots. Do you know what I mean? I know it's sounds weird.
It's almost, I would describe it, it's almost meditative. You know what I mean? Because your brain just fucks off somewhere.
Yeah.
Just disappears, and your just motor functions are just going, so you can just sort of check out for a little bit. So
what I do, I just put on like Talk of the Devils or something. Or if I need to get a clip from here, I'll just listen to one of our pods and I'll just fucking crack on with an hour and do it. Speaking of cracking on, Jadon Sancho isn't cracking on, is he? He wants to move on over to Juventus. So what we're going to do is, like I said, we're going to touch on this chronological timeline, and we're going to go right back to December 2022. Why do you think that date is pivotal, Sam?
Is that when he originally kicked off with Ten Hag?
So that was when Ten Hag sent him on the individual training camp, claiming that he doesn't have the right fitness, which was kind of the start of this story, really. But just that initially shows how much faith he was putting in the player, because he wouldn't have done that with many other players, would it?
No. But also, you can go back further. Like, you go to Dortmund, they had faith in the player so much that they had somebody who had to buddy up with him at Dortmund to get him out of bed on time and get to training on time and get on the bus. He was left out of England squads by Southgate because he just couldn't turn up to training on time. He couldn't get other things on time. He just wasn't putting the effort in. Same at City under Pep, the demands that Pep has. And under Pep, we've had players like Phil Foden, who's obviously had his history of stuff in the past. Jack Grealish, who's had his stuff of behaviour in the past, and he's got the best out of him. And Pep went with Sancho and just went, "Nah, this ain't worth the trouble. Juice ain't worth the squeeze." So you can go back before that, man.
Yeah. And we carry on forward into August 26, 2023 versus Nottingham Forest. Jadon Sancho left out of the matchday squad for Manchester United's Premier League game. United win 3-2, but Sancho's absence starts to raise questions, and in Erik Ten Hag's post-match presser, he got asked about his absence, and he said that Sancho was not included in the squad due to his performances in training, implying the winger basically wasn't at the level required to earn a place in the team. Now, from a fan perspective, do you take any issue with that?
No, I don't think he. From the way I remember the words, like a lot of people misconstrued it online and basically said, "Oh, he chucked Sancho under the bus. He called him lazy and stuff." It's like, if you listen to the actual words, I don't think he did. He just said he wasn't applying the levels in training. He was asked to do certain things and he wasn't doing them. As a footballer, it's your job to train as hard as possible, do what the manager's asked, and you accept the manager's decision. You can disagree with it and you can bring it up to the manager and say, "I disagree with this, X, Y, Z," but at the end of the day, they're in charge and you got to accept the decision. I don't think there was anything wrong with what he said, to be honest with you. Like, I don't think he said anything where, like Jose did, where he just started talking about Luke Shaw and stuff like that. I don't think it was at that level. Like, I don't think there was any line was crossed in my eyes.
I think it's an interpretation of Ten Hag because he's quite a dry character
He's
when he
blunt
says
as
certain
well.
things and comes across. Very blunt, very dry at times, and his character has been questioned before in terms of his personality. I don't really give a shit as long as he gets results on the pitch. That doesn't really matter to me. It's nice to have charismatic people in press conferences. I always loved Jose Mourinho when he did one, but like you just said, then sometimes he took it a little bit too far. But I don't think he said anything out of line. I think you do all you can with a player, and if they're still not responding, maybe sometimes it's just time for tough love and just say, look, he's not putting in levels required at training. What else do you want me to do?
Maybe,
We've got to do something.
maybe like he tried the soft approach, didn't he? So he's like, go away 3 months to this Netherlands thing, get your head right, get your fitness right, get everything sorted, and you can come back and we'll reintegrate in your squad. So he tried the soft approach and gave him the leeway to do it. Comes back, not putting the effort, by all accounts, not putting the efforts in. Like, this is not just Ten Hag's word. I think the Athletic reported on it. I believe like Laurie Whitwell and stuff like very well covered like around the time. And he's not put the effort in. So the only other option that Ten Hag has is like, maybe I could shock him into some sort of thing to like, I'll say something and maybe he'll hear it and be like, right, I'll show you,
Yeah.
that kind of
Yeah.
mentality, which is, again, Jose Mourinho used that quite a lot with players. He challenged them to rise to the occasion, and it didn't work with Luke Shaw because he's not that type of player, I don't believe. So he tried, I think that was his last tool in the box he had to try and get something out of him. And obviously, Sancho does not respond well to authority or anything like that.
Mm. I mean, Pep's done it with Calvin Phillips. No
Yep.
one moaned at him for that. He's done it with Mateus Nunes, saying he's not up to speed yet in the team, so he's not going to start. Kyle Walker, he said he weren't even good at playing football, really. He was just like, And then who else? Jack Grealish, a couple of things.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, it feels like Ten Hag does it to one player. You have a certain group of the fan base who are like, no, I actually like Sancho, and they ignore anything he's ever done at Man United, which is almost nothing, by the way. Like, I'm sure me and you both probably count on one hand how many good performances he's had for us. Even thinking back, it'd be tough, wouldn't it? To try and think
I mean,
of some.
like top performances. I couldn't name one decent. I could name 2, 3, maybe.
Liverpool, Villa, maybe.
There was
like,
a half. Wasn't there a
couple.
half against someone as well? I'm sure there was.
Yeah, Leicester was it
Yeah.
when he came on as a 10 against Leicester
Yeah.
and he looked all right. So, like you said, I think that is the perfect way to describe the situation. Like the juice isn't worth the squeeze.
No,
I think
the
that's the
wage,
perfect way to say it.
the fee, the amount of effort we've had
Yeah.
to put in. It's been 3 seasons now, and we've not seen a single performance where we could go, that's the Jadon Sancho we bought. Not a single one. Like, we've seen elements and stuff where it's like, okay, maybe he's going to the boil. I've not seen a single performance from him. I think even when he went back to Dortmund, he had that one performance in the Champions League against PSG. After that, nothing. He got subbed in the second game at 60 minutes.
One of the biggest talking points and what people were most kind of, especially the coach, unhappy with was when he went to social media. So obviously after these comments that we just touched on then from Ten Hag, he posts a statement on social media, denies the manager's claims, saying he's been training well and suggests that he's been made a scapegoat for reasons he doesn't understand. And then it becomes a public disagreement, basically, which escalates the situation completely in the media. What at the time when Sancho's putting that, what do you think he thought he'd achieve from it?
I think he just thinks in his head that he's not going to have a manager say something he disagrees with without reply. And how most modern players now communicate is through social media. We've seen it with Rashford a bunch of times. David De Gea uses it with his like one emoji thing, doesn't he? Like, a lot of football players use social media as a tool to air grievances or air things they disagree with or make little snide digs and stuff like that, don't they? Like, there was a lot of people speculating. Do you remember when Ahmad took all the United pictures off his thing? There's a lot of people speculating about that. Same with Jadon Sancho. Like, he's not got a single United picture on his social media, and his profile picture is still him at Dortmund, which I don't know if you want to read something into that.
It's bizarre, isn't it? Like,
You know
even
what I mean?
when that got announced, saying that, I'll get into that later. Continue, sorry.
Well, I don't know if you want to read that. You're reading too much into that, but the way he uses social media to me says quite a lot. Like, obviously, if it was just a player who has a page and his PR team run it and they just post the usual shit, then fair enough. But Sancho clearly uses it personally and uses it to do stuff like that. So to me, that says quite a lot. Now, it's the difficult bit is I think he would have been moved on a lot quicker in this summer had it not been for his wages. That's the big sticking point, isn't it? I think he would have gone very early in the summer, and I think Ten Hag and the board looked at it and were just like, look, if we can make water under the bridge this because of his wage, that'd be great. It would help us out this season, and you've got an extra forward. And I think Ten Hag probably agreed to it. It was like, fine, let's go. And then obviously in training since, he's obviously not putting the effort in again. So now we're like thinking, well, maybe we can get him out, whether it's the Juventus loan or whatever.
It's difficult because even with, if you drop someone like a Marcus Rashford, he's on £350,000 a week. You drop Casemiro, he's on the same amount. You know, drop Anthony. Anthony's been sat on the bench, £80 million winger, and he's on 200 grand a week. But you don't necessarily see the same stuff from him. I mean, Anthony could be. I'm sure. I know there's been things going on with him, which is completely separate to football. But I mean, he's kind of just kept his head down for the best part and cracked on with it. Look, I think Maguire's probably a better example. The shit he's been through and hasn't gone to social media or anything like that. It's just been a pure professional.
Yep.
And I would take players like that 9 times out of 10 over players like Jadon Sancho, who's just, yeah, I'm sure there is talent in there somewhere, but he needs everything to be perfect and the stars to be aligned. And it almost reminds me a little bit like, you know, like Pogba. Everyone would say, oh, well, when he's got a certain player next to him or when he's got this, he'll be really, really good. He's just inconsistent. And that's the issue. Inconsistency. And that's why he got excluded from first team training. And he was like, yeah, unless you apologise, you ain't coming back into this team, mate. It's the squad first, not individuals. The one thing with that, though, with the apology, do you think it went on a little bit too long? Because we was laughing about it, weren't we, towards the end of the season?
I think you can't have the manager undermined by a player, because as soon as you do, the manager loses all power. Like you saw it under Ollie. Apparently, player power was at its highest point under Ollie.
Oh yeah,
because obviously he was trying to be friends with the players, and rather than being the authoritarian, because you remember those like things where they were like, oh, the players are sick of it because they have to go home at night time when it goes dark in the winter. Don't want to train at night time and all this sort of bollocks. And then they complain when Ragnick come in, oh, it's too hard and they're running you to that. Like these players don't fucking, everything's like difficult for them. They can't be asked with anything. I just think it's a lot of players like that who were at the club who've now, I think, been moved on. But obviously, there's still a couple here in Jadon Sancho. Maybe you can label Marcus Rashford in that same vein as well. There's still a couple here that are still within that thing. So I think, yeah, it's a weird situation, man, because you have to give the manager full authority, but at the same time, sometimes managers do go too far and push it. But I don't think Ten Hag has at any point, and I think the board were right to back him. It's like you have to back the manager, because if you lose the manager, the dressing room just runs everything, and then you're fucked. You have to back the manager, whether you agree with him or not. Which I do agree with the manager, and I think the manager was in the right. But whether you agree with him or not, you have to back the manager regardless. You can't just back one player. Like it's not sensible.
Well, one thing I think we all know as a collective with Ten Hag wingers, he wants them to work extremely hard. I mean, Garnacho ran himself into the ground last season. There was question marks. People were questioning Rashford at times, saying he's not. There was videos of it. Sometimes just fucking walking. And obviously that is a big thing that he wants. And Sancho, I've seen it myself in games where he looks knackered after like 40 minutes. He looks like he's blowing out of his ass. He's
not got great fitness, has he? Like he's not known for his cardio or his ability to get up and down that wing like a Diego Dallo or an Anthony, like you mentioned, or a Garnacho.
Yeah,
like
you can't get away with it now.
No,
if you're just talented, you know, without the athletic ability. Like City get praised for so much in their attacking areas, but every one of them, they're the hardest working players in the league almost. The Bernardo Silvas, your Fodens, and he don't put in no way near that amount of work. And he might be training, you know, really hard, or at least what he thinks is really hard in pre-season and stuff. But when it comes to the games, he's not effective at all. Which is why I'm curious to know why other teams are willing to gamble on him. But we'll talk about that in a moment, because there's still a few things. Sorry to break down. Just gonna go to the comments. Go on.
Before you go to the comments, there's another thing in football. I don't know if it's Chivy or Aaron who mentioned it, but it's like every team gets one luxury player, like one player who doesn't have to do all the dog work of everybody else. United have got a few, and you just can't do that. You've got Rashford, who's that kind of player. Sancho's that kind of player. Ronaldo, when he was here, is that kind of player. You can't have multiple types of that player. You can have one, you get away with one, but you can't have 2, 3, 4 in the team. It doesn't work. 99% of the team has to work its ass off. And then the luxury player gets to be the luxury player if he delivers on the pitch, which Sancho isn't doing.
Hazard being a prime
There you go.
example.
Yeah.
All the time. Ronaldo for us in 2008. Rooney and everyone else did the dog work for him. I'd say back in the day, he might have got away with it. You know, and it was focused more on technical stuff. I know they
Different
still
game
had
now.
like hard-working games, but it's a completely different game now. And I'm just like, yeah, I don't know. Anyway, good evening, lads. Anthony gets a lot of stick, but he's done more than Sancho. He's constantly mugging off the club and should be booted out for whatever we can get for him. Everyone else saying good evening. Hope you're all well. Big up Bash Bros, Real Red Star. That's from Punch Paint. My Damned United saying evening, Nick, Sam, and all the legends in the chat. Listening in, noshing a box of spicy chicken like a zombie after a long day. Hope everyone is good. Yeah, very nice. Cheers, everyone in the chat supporting this channel. Big up. I'm feeling dangerous. 6 points heading into Scousers, hopefully. Sorry, so many comments. Nick and Sam, absolute legends. Thank you, Punch. Sancho's a flop with a British passport. Cut the loss at 25 mil. Wow, that's low. That's extremely low.
I don't even think the fee is the issue. It's the wages. Like,
Yes.
I think we could get 30 million, 40 million for him if he was on 150k a week or something. I think we could get that. I think the fact that he's on 325k, that's the big problem. I don't think the fee would be the issue. The wages are the problem. He's not going to take a wage cut, is it? So
no,
that's the issue. That's the big issue.
Yeah. To be honest, I think you could. Someone just put in there. I can make a case for Sancho being one of our worst ever signings. Transfer fee, high wages, major headache, and next to zero output. And think how long we chased him for as well. Just to add on to that, you could put him in with the same category as Anthony, can't you?
Yeah, he's up there. I think for me, Alexis Sanchez is probably the worst. Like, that was by far the worst. Like, the wage, the output, the fact that he didn't even want to be there, and like day one he didn't want to be there, and then just the shit that came after it. I think he's number one, but Anthony, Sancho are probably in the top 5. Absolutely.
Dramatic Avocado, Maguire's a real G. That guy suffered but showed he played for the badge. Amari Maris says, I can't wait to get the here we go for Uwate. Closer than close than close.
I can smell it. Something you're acquiring.
Muppeters also just said Ten Hag wants Amrabat back, and Ineos said no, they don't rate him. That's fine. I'm all right with that. I liked him in the last couple of games, but if the push, yeah, absolutely.
This is why, like, you needed these people in charge when he was pushing for Anthony. Like, Ten Hag wanted him, and he was like, no, you need to pay it, and they should have been like, no, we're not paying this. We're not paying 80 million for him. It's ridiculous. Like, well, someone else. I'm fine with that. It's fine.
Yeah, same. Jay McGrocken saying Anthony, Sancho, Ericsson, and Casemiro all need to go for me for different reasons. Sancho's attitude I can smell from here. Anthony's ego writes checks. His talent can't cash. Casemiro and Ericsson just can't run. I do think there's a couple of passages. To be fair, Casemiro's been all right since he's come back. It's still very early to judge, but I'm willing to give him a chance at least. I'm not just completely closed off to the idea. A similar thing happened with Matic. A lot of people writing him off when he came back and had a good season. Ericsson, I'm pretty nailed on that. I'm all right for him to go. I mean, it's not the end of the world, is it, Sam? If he's 10, 15 minute cameos.
If he's happy to sit on the bench and just come on in the last 10, 15 minutes, I'm fine with that. Or playing like Europa League, like lower teams, then yeah, it's fine with me. But I don't think we'd get that much for him, to be honest with you. And I don't imagine he's on a big wage, to be fair, either. I don't think it's going to make that much of a difference if he did go.
Yeah. Sancho on the same level as Alexis Sanchez, in my opinion. Well, we've got an own category of wingers, really. I mean, Di Maria, you can chuck in there. Sancho, you can chuck in there. Anthony, you can chuck in there. Depay, if you want to class him as one who's a bit of a flop, you can chuck in there.
Aaron loves him. He's absolutely loves him.
Quite a few there. Big up Real Reds talking about the pub, getting after it. We do what we want. That's a commitment, watching us in the pub. Love that.
Yep. Get everybody in the pub to subscribe. Let's go around.
Yeah,
get them all subscribe.
Say you'll buy him a pint. Thing is, you watch Anthony's show reel from playing in the Dutch League and he looked like a world beater. Highlights can do that to anyone, Nick.
Oh, yeah.
We should have learned our lesson.
Watch highlight reel. Who is it? They showed the video of Fergie signed him and actually see. Is it Bebe? That it was? Like, somebody watched the video, told Fergie, and Fergie was like, yeah, sign him, because based on this video they found online, and then obviously it was just fucking abysmal. Like, absolutely abysmal.
Yeah, sorry if I've glazed over any comments there, but there's still quite a bit to go to. I want to go back to the timeline and back to this year, really. So January 2024, halfway through last season, Sancho goes to Dortmund on loan, has a couple of okay games, and the admin gets a little bit ahead of himself, doesn't he? Saying, you weren't aware of his game and all that kind of bullshit. His loan spell ends, comes back to United, July. We then get the news that Ten Hag's going to integrate him back into the squad. Again, I think people all regged it a bit and was like, oh, they've made up. He's going to be amazing. And I think at the time we was live for that kind of news and we were saying like, this could just be to save face and, better for both parties, which has now come to fruition basically. And Laurie Whitwell reported today that Erik Ten Hag stated an ear infection played some part in the 24-year-old's absence, but ultimately it was a selection call. Just seems like there's a constant issue in it. Like, I'm sure he's had an ear infection before, and I'm sure there's been illnesses where it's been questionable.
I'm positive, yeah.
Just like can't be dealing with this fucking dude. Jadon Sancho had reacted to the decision from Erik Ten Hag to leave him out of the squad against Fulham by reaffirming his desire to leave Man United, mixed with teammates at Old Trafford before kickoff, but he was not seen watching the game alongside others in the director's box, again from The Athletic and Laurie Whitwell. On to transfer news, Sam. Fabrizio Romano, in the last couple of hours, Juventus are currently in talks with his agents, Nico Gonzalez and Francisco Concheo. As reported in recent days, it's 100% open with an exit considered concrete possibility in the final 7 days. United received an approach from Juventus as reported, direct contact, open to leaving United, and although finding a financial agreement that satisfies all parties is expected to be difficult, they are expected to propose a loan with a salary contribution deal. Quite simply, take the money, right? And if there is an issue with the wage, are you happy to say, look, that's just, like a severance payment? Would you do that?
It depends like how it works out, doesn't it? How much we have to pay out? Because if he's on $325K a week, and then how many years has he got left on his deal?
So it's like 16 mil a year, and he's got 2 years left on his deal, so it's like 30
it's
mil.
half. So if he goes for 40, so it's like you're getting what, 10 million?
Yeah, well, it depends because Juventus will pay him 200, won't they? So the difference then, let's just say, for example, would be 150 or 125. So yeah, there'd be probably 10 million, I'd say. That's a very rough estimate.
Yeah. It's I don't know. It annoys me because yet again another club crying fucking poverty when it comes to buying players, and they're also trying to ship out a bunch of players like Chiesa and who's the other one that Thiago Motta said doesn't want to be at the club anymore.
Can't remember.
There's somebody else. So they cry poverty, but then when they're trying to shift players, they want big fees and they're not going to accept any lower. So it's another one of those. It just annoys me. And out of principle, my sort of brain wants to go, nah, fuck off. If you want him, pay for the wages. You want it, like if you want him on loan, you got to pay his wages, and then maybe we can do a deal at the end, and we can sort out the transfer fee. But it's got to be an obligation. Pay his full wages. We'll do an obligation, and then you can have him for say 25, 30 next summer. Like maybe we can work something out like that. I know we've got PSR sort of concerns, I think. So something from Sancho would be better than nothing. However, obviously you'd love to get the 40 mil to make it a bit easier, but I just don't see that happening with the wages on top of it. So yeah, maybe there's a deal to be done. I don't know. Maybe there's something there to be done.
I'm just glad the managers are being backed finally over players. Because under the previous regime, they probably would have got rid of the manager and kept Sancho. And then in 2 years' time, we're having the exact same conversation. He signed a new contract again. And you're just scratching your head thinking, what on earth is going on? But I think this all started with Cristiano Ronaldo, really, didn't it?
Yeah.
When that shit was kicking off. And obviously, Ronaldo has a huge, biggest fan base in football individually. Brought his own kind of crowd with him. Adored by United fans. That's one of the biggest decisions ever made in the history of our club, doing all that, terminating his contract and that whole interview with fucking the pigeon lady. So Sancho's got no chance in that respect, has he? If he's going to do it with Cristiano with his profile, Jadon Sancho's got no fucking chance.
They drew a line in the sand with Ronaldo. Like, it doesn't matter how big you are or the club. Like, we've done it before, to be fair. Like, we've done it before. Like, Roy Keane said some stuff in a MUTV interview that's never seen the light of day.
I'd love to see that,
I'd love to see that. But that's basically why he didn't play for United after that. Like he was essentially kicked out for saying stuff on an MUTV, and he still doesn't forgive Fergie to this day. And it's been like how long? Like 20 odd years at this point, and he still don't forgive Fergie. So
I understand it though a
yeah, no, I
bit.
get it. I get it. No, like
Yeah.
I'm not going to argue with him because mainly
Mhm.
because he scares the fuck out of me. But on the other side, also I'm sure he feels aggrieved, and the way he describes it, it seems like a shitty way to let
Mm.
him go because apparently he didn't let him go till like past the transfer window, so he had to sit around till January
Yeah.
before he
Had a
could go play.
cruciate injury
Yeah.
as well, didn't he? I think. Yeah.
So it's anyway, we're getting off topic, but there's players that it's happened to before, and I'm sure there's going to be players in the future who are going to try and test the club and see if they're bigger than the club. And if Roy Keane's been axed, if Ronaldo's been axed, Sancho, mate, you ain't that big, and you've never been that big, so
Yeah. Yeah.
it's not going to work, my friend. You're going to be the one who's going to end up out of the club one way or the other. Whether it's you run your contract out or you sell you, you're not going to be here.
In terms of talent and ceiling, do you think he could be one of the best players in the world?
Not with his attitude and application, no, because I think you need both.
What about ability?
Ability is there. Ability is fantastic. I think he's a fantastic player, and when he's got players around him who know how to play with him and that kind of one-touch passing between the lines, that kind of stuff. We saw it at Dortmund for 2 seasons. You saw how good he was. He was one of the highest goal involvements in Europe, I think,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
behind Messi in that.
Like 36 goals and
Yeah,
assists or something
like
ridiculous.
the ability's there, but his attitude and his application can't keep him there. So you need both. Like you see with Ronaldo and Messi, the work they put in, the attitude and the application they put in on a daily basis to stay at the top. That's why they're playing into the nearly 40 at this point, and they're still playing. Like obviously it's at a different level, but that's what it takes to be at the top. And he hasn't got it. Like he's not got that attitude. He's not got that application. He's not got that grit and that determination to just continually go, go, go. And when he's faced with an obstacle to overcome it or push through it, he's not got it, which means his ceiling's limited. He's not going to be able to go further.
Do you see a world if he does go over to Italy, let's say with Juventus, and settles down and finds his form again, where he does maybe get back into the England squad?
No, I think he's out. I think he's done with England. I don't see him going back. There's too many forwards who are better than him and have been in the team longer. And there's more upcoming as well. There's some good players coming through. I think he's done with England. I don't see him ever playing for us again.
Interesting, isn't it? I think in general, to kind of sum this up before we go into Kadioglu, 40 mil and wages off his bill. I did not mean that to rhyme, but it did. Be absolutely ecstatic with.
Yeah.
The question is on this: who do you bring in?
Do we need to bring someone in?
Not wingers, but I would argue
left back,
defensive, yeah, or maybe striker as well. Some people may
possible. Yeah, I think left back for me. An additional midfielder or left back. They'd be the two priority for me because we've said multiple times on this channel. Luke Shaw already injured. Don't know what to expect with him. Let's just count him as he's not going to be available. Terrell Malacia, excuse me, we still don't know where he is, what he's doing, and he doesn't think Harry Amas is ready yet. So a left back would be key. We know Max Rowry's injury history. If you keep playing him there continuously, is he eventually going to break down? So yeah, a left back would be key for me, an additional midfielder. Then maybe I think striker would be third on that list because I think we've got people who can play there and stuff, but they'd be the two priority for me.
Yeah. Right, over to the comments before we discuss Kadioglu. We can kind of segue into that from obviously who we're going by next. Jay McGonga saying, I mean, I'm with you two in terms of Casemiro having a decent season, but his physical peak has gone and he ain't going to get better with time. Same for Ericsson. Eric Jemba was better than Bebe. Very random. Thank you. I'm just working hard where I can, hoping to invent the wheel before someone else beats me to it. Yeah. Sorry, I'm just deciphering the comments. Sam and Nick, is there a better duo? Probably not. Very nice. Are you have you had a drink punch? Actually, to be fair,
he's in the pub. Yeah, he's had a few.
Yeah, he's had a few. I mean, I'll take it, but he's definitely had a few. Sancho's a disgrace to us as fans and to the club and badge. Get rid. P45. Goodbye. Take the hit. We did it with Ronaldo. A dramatic avocado saying, I don't think we're getting close to 40 mil for Sancho. Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me, Juventus.
No.
It would not surprise me. And as Steph saying, Sam needs a chocolate teapot to brew his tea properly.
I've got a kettle. I think a teapot is a bit too English, isn't it? Like if I come in with
Have
a
you got
tea...
the chocolate mug? Is it here?
No, it's not here. I've not brought it. Sorry, Dino, if you're in the chat, if I'm sure it upsets you that I've not got. I
Unacceptable.
know, disgracing it. It's Friday night
I
though.
don't know.
It's Friday night.
I don't know where to
There you
go
go,
with this
but
show now. I feel like it's
Elite Baller is trying to get us some brand deals. Do you want to hear about some of the stuff that he's trying to get us branded?
Yeah, go for it.
Branded Real Red Start branded hemorrhoids cream.
Give me a minute. Real red something in that hemorrhoid.
Yeah.
Real red. Yeah.
You want your hemorrhoids to be less real reds? That we've got the.
Yeah, there you go. There's branding there.
Real Reds branded lint rollers.
Real
What
red
else has he
stick.
got? Real Reds branded tampons, helping you through it. No, I'm not reading that. You can read that. I'm not reading that. What else has he got? Let's have a look. Real Red branded knuckle dusters. I think we'd be arrested for that one. Pretty sure. Yeah, he's trying to work some brand deals for us. I mean, if any of those companies want a brand deal, hit us up.
Real Red Bizarre, wouldn't it? Say like you use code Real Red Sam for 10% off your knuckle dusters. People are like, what the fuck? Very bizarre.
Real Red Start 99@gmail.com.
Yeah,
brand deals come
know.
at us.
Let us know. Right, let's discuss Kadioglu then. We're going to hear we go from Fabrizio Romano. Before, Kadioglu wanted the Brighton project apparently in personal terms were agreed already 2 weeks ago on a 5-year deal. Medical travel to be planned for Turkish left-back with Kolo Barco on loan to Sevilla. Is this an opportunity missed, Sam? We were just discussing about certain targets or areas we could go for.
I think, didn't Laurie Whitwell say on Talk of the Devils, he was saying United were interested, but the price point was too much, the 30 million.
Too much. And Romano said that as well.
And I think he would probably, what is he, 23? I think he would probably ask for a starting spot. And I think for what it seems like, the same, we're not looking at a left back anymore. It seems like Ten Hag is determined that Luke Shaw is going to be starting left back, and he hopes Malacia gets back as the backup at some point. So that would then leave Ferdi Kalioglu as third choice, maybe fourth choice under Amas. And I think he probably looked at that and went, that's not for me. I want to play. And obviously at Brighton, he's probably going to get a lot of starting games and play in the Premier League and all that sort of stuff. So, and I think 30 million is quite a lot for a backup left back, isn't it? Like when you consider what we got Max Rowery for, what, 15 million? Like 30. We got another one.
Sorry, yeah, just the one. T2 says Real Red's talc, the world's best baby powder. These are the weirdest fucking products.
Yeah, like, can we have anything like slightly branded towards us? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, just Real Red's
knuckle dusters, tampons,
I know, like,
and fucking
like Real
baby
Red,
powder.
Real Red's like tea mugs. Real Red's like whiskey glass. Like, I'll do that stuff. Like, that's more other brand, but like that talc. Come on,
I mean, I reckon I could cut a pretty good promo for talc, to be fair. Yeah. I've got ideas spilling around in my head already. I'll just come in a big nappy.
Yeah.
Just like...
start powdering your ass.
Yeah. Yeah, 10% off. Get this now. I can already imagine it. Be amazing.
2-in-1 shampoo and conditioner. I mean, I've got a skinhead, so that's useless to me. So I don't really need that.
I'll take that. Yeah, I cut the promo for that.
You don't. Do you know what? Off tangent. I don't trust anything that's like 2-in-1 or 3-in-1 or 4-in-1. I don't trust it.
Why?
Because it's like, how can you make sure you get the effects that you want out of that when it's already in there with something else? So you need separate products. You know what I mean?
I don't know. Yeah, that's way too advanced for my kind of line of thinking. With
just
how that would
it's like, as like 2-in-1 hair conditioner. It's like they're two separate products. You can't just put them together. Like. That's like going 2-in-1 tea and coffee. Like, it's two different things. You can't put it together and just be like, it's better because it's together. Like,
yeah, I mean, if they sold tea that was already tea, do they do that? I mean, surely they sell that, don't they?
What, like liquid in liquid form?
Yeah. Like iced tea.
Yeah, but it's like peach iced tea.
Yeah, you drink that, innit? That's
no, but it's not coffee though, is it? You know what I mean? It's not coffee and tea, like two diametrically opposed substances. Like shampoo is for cleaning, conditioning's for like sort of smoothing your hair out and conditioning it, isn't it? That was the elite baller, but like
it's fine.
Elite baller, we're not getting that. That is not happening. That one.
Yeah, 2-in-1 conditioner. I
No,
do have to say though, I am a 2-in-1 conditioner kind of guy. Like it's
alright,
just easier in it rather
yeah.
than what I'm saying, just bosh, get it in there,
He,
sorted.
he just put branded nipple clamps on some real branded nipple clamps.
These are the most ridiculous suggestions
You're
ever.
Elite Baller. You are not being our marketing guy because these are
No,
fucking
no
terrible.
way.
Fucking
Nipple
terrible.
clamp. They could be the best nipple clamps in the world, and we wouldn't sell fucking one.
No.
We wouldn't sell one.
I think
Honestly.
if we did the ad, we'd get banned off YouTube immediately.
Yeah. Yeah.
What was I talking about? 30 calorie glue. Yeah, 30 million is too much for a backup left back. So maybe there's another option out there. Region on loan again. Maybe that's an option.
Just I can't go from nipple clamp to cardio glue.
I segued.
Too much. I can't.
Yeah.
It's too much for me. Yeah, I think we can both in unison agree. The left back, as soon as you saw that report coming out from the Athletic, it was like, it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
It's simply not going to happen. So we can leave that at that. That's fine. Kadioglu's gone to Brighton. We'll focus on our nipple clamps and the rest of the brand deals. So, right, let's have a look. 'Cause I'm more interested in what's going on in the chat here. Real Reds tanks, United-styled World War II Russian era.
How many would we sell of those? In all honesty, like we've got Real Reds. How many would we have to buy for a start? Like,
yeah, I don't know if there's a market for. Well, there's probably a market for tanks, but
are you gonna park him in Mum's garden? Like, where the fuck are we
Yeah.
keeping these things?
Yeah, you can't just keep a tank outside your. People get pretty suspicious
Yeah,
if there's a tank outside your house. I'd
ridiculous.
suggest.
I ain't got a garage. Can't park it outside my house.
The best brand for Real Red Talk is John Smith's No Nonsense. After his dealing with that dude in the chat this afternoon. Oh, right, yeah, the 12 o'clock. Yeah, I like that. There's some like suggestions. I mean, I'm open to funny suggestions as well, but I do like that. After Nick's dealings with the guy earlier, sorry, proper zombie brain now. Oh, sorry. Low key, also, I'm a serial killer. I hope you're on about fucking actual cereal.
He has had a drink.
He's probably like cereal.
Yeah, he has had a drink as well. So,
like, you can't say low key. I'm a serial killer. That's not low key. There's nothing low key about that.
Also, if there's police watching, you're telling on yourself there, mate. You're telling on yourself.
Yeah. T2, I'd buy a tank.
What I don't like T2. If you're gonna buy a tank, I will personally get the sticker to stick on the tank for you.
Yeah,
We'll
put
get
Real
it for you.
Red sticker,
But
big one.
I'm not going to invest in like 100 tanks for people to not buy them. It's not happening.
How much is a tank?
I'm googling it.
No, before you Google it, can we at least try guess how much a tank would cost?
I reckon at least 20 grand.
Nah, I reckon more.
Like an old
100
tank,
grand.
because they decommission the gun, don't they? You can't have an active gun. So.
Oh, what's the point of getting a tank then? You want a fucking active gun.
It looks badass, doesn't it?
Mm. It's like getting a meal deal without the crisp. Pointless.
Vehicles. Here we go. eBay.
100k, I'm saying. eBay?
Yeah.
There's people selling tanks on eBay?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God. What is going on? No deal.
No deal.
I already have the artillery just lying around. I am starting to get worried about some of the people in this chat. Someone just said they're a serial killer. Someone just said I have artillery lying around. What kind of people are we attracting here? This is nuts. What the fuck?
eBay is... All right, let's have a look. Military tanks. There we go.
You lot are crazy.
Military trade-ins.
For people just joining, welcome.
Real Reds tanks.
Yeah, Real Tank Talk. Welcome to Real Tank Talk.
What do you want? Do you want a thick Spartan? Do you want a striker? What do you want? What are you after? Russian tank. Russian main battle tank. That's what you want.
You're the salesman. You have to pitch a tank to me. I don't know what I'm looking for.
Soviet Union, 1937, 1940.
That's I like the sound of that.
Yeah, that sounds like a good one.
Not a Soviet Union, just like the brand of the tank.
Just so you know, no miles. Example, straight from the Polish army rebuild. So there you go.
Okay. Has he got a price?
I'm looking for a price now. Oh look.
Got to be around 100k, surely.
Why hasn't it given me a price? Do you want to guess the name of the site that I'm on?
tanksforyou.com.
It's not that far away.
Is it not far away? What is it? Full service history. Yeah, it's got to be his MOT, mate. You can't be giving a scrapped one from fucking a war or something.
Tanksalot.co.uk.
How much is it?
It's not giving me a price. It's fucking description.
Tanks are us.
Oh, fucking hell.
Wow.
All right, here
So
we
it's
go.
not coming up with any prices at all.
So, Challenger, which is a British tank, £64,000.
Well, that's reasonable. 64k. I mean, how much is a Range Rover? Like 50k?
Yeah,
I'd rather have a tank than a Range Rover.
I'll read out.
That's the way I do it.
I'll read out the description. Developed as a heavily improved chieftain tank for the Middle East, only to be cancelled. Or maybe you don't want this one. Temporary stock Outrider replacement was being developed. Blah, 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 blah. Vehicle was able to move under its own steam, but it's clear the main gun was not a conventional one and was manufactured with a sealed muzzle. This missing included a driver's sight and a skeleton driver's compartment, if that means anything to anybody.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go. 64,000.
Christmas is coming up, so do your thing in the chat if you want to buy me a tank. Yeah, you can all put two in a pot.
Have a whip round.
Whip round for a tank, and you could buy us one. Sorted. Thank you for bringing that up and completely taking the show in another direction. Yeah, I think we pretty much covered everything. Jadon Sancho, Kadioglu, tanks, tampons, nipple clamps. I think we pretty much full thing. We give
you bang for your buck. That's what we do on this channel.
Yeah. And on a serious note, just very quickly before we go, can I just send my condolences out to McMillan? He's got a bit through a tough time at the minute. I have read some of the comments. I didn't want to put stuff out there, but yeah, just obviously I hope you're okay, and I hope everything goes well. And always, obviously, just message us as well if you're struggling. Happy message on Instagram, man.
Shout out, mate. Life is. I'm going through a tough period in my life at the minute with things that are going on that Nick knows about. So we all go through it. And I'm hoping us talking utter shite about tanks and other bollocks, and the people in the chat have cheered you up a little bit and took your mind off it for 40 minutes. So
yeah,
if that's what we can do. I hope we can do that. But yeah, I hope it gets better for you, mate.
You don't get no sunshine without no rain. That's what they say. So yeah, big up everyone. I hope you all have a wonderful weekend. Do come and join me and Shreyas tomorrow for the watch along. We're going to be live from 11:30 with live team news, and of course we kicked the weekend off just us against Brighton. So yeah, come and join us. Hopefully we'll see you there. Obviously, if anything breaks on Ugarte, we will go live. But yeah, God knows when that's going to happen. I thought it happened today, but I'm obviously wrong. So we'll see what's what.
It's probably going to happen very 11:30 or something on a Sunday.
Probably. Didn't Delita Majrari got announced when we did a pre-match build-up in the last game?
Yeah.
Oh.
So there'll be stuff. There'll be something like that. There'll be something inconvenient about it where we can't do a separate show and it's in the middle of something else. So. Yeah, follow the socials. We'll drop the team news and the final score stuff. So if you don't get to watch the game, you'll be fully informed and all that stuff. And then, yeah, even if you're not watching the game, come watch Nick and Shreyas, and they'll keep you entertained, I'm sure.
I'm going to have a review after the game as well. So if you want to come and check that analysis out, then please do. Okay, we'll leave it at that. Take it easy, everyone. Enjoy your weekend, bank holiday weekend, should I say. And hopefully we'll see you tomorrow, yeah? In a bit.
Peace.